Buckeye Talk coming to you from the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. Nathan Baird with cleveland.com and Stephen Means. These are your game time decisions. Saturday morning, this is what you need to know about what Ohio State needs to do to beat Tulsa this week, which is actually kind of a misnomer because they're going to beat Tulsa this week. But they need to fix a lot of other things. They need to change some things in the process of winning this game. They need to experiment in the process of winning this game. They need to refine some things in the process of winning this game. Defense is obviously going to be a big focus, and I don't know how easy that's going to be to tell how much defensive progress they've made just if they hold Tulsa down. But I think there's going to be things within the game to watch. So, Steven, from a defensive standpoint, what's your game time decision?
I want to see what's new. I want to see who is in the actual linebacker rotation. I want to see, are they going to try some two safety stuff? Have somebody like Lathan Ransom, who's been playing cover safety, now the single high safety. Where is Ryan Watts, who's in this defense, if he's on the field? Is Sevyn Banks going to play? And if so, are we going to get a real kind of idea of what the cornerback rotation is going to be like? I want to see the defensive line rotation. If Jerron Cage, obviously, if he plays or not, he's not on the unavailability report. I want to see stuff like that because we got all offensive guys on Wednesday for obvious reasons. But Garrett did allude to the offense is kind of working on a lot of the finer details because they couldn't get into the end zone, while with the defense, they're kind of taking it slower this week because they're teaching them a lot of new things, which is what Ryan Day talked about on Tuesday. But it's a different thing when you hear a player say it because that's real. It's kind of real there because they're noticing it as well. So I want to see what these new things are. Who's moved where? What kind of schematical things have they changed? Because we're not going to tell if it actually works or not, but we can tell that they're at least trying to find some new things to try to figure out how they can make this defense better.
Defense is obviously the main focus for Saturday. It'll be the main focus for the Saturday after that when they play Akron. It's going to be the main focus for a while because I think there's still always going to be enough talent on the offensive side of the ball, even if they didn't finish some drives, that they're going to be able to put up points against pretty much anybody they play. However, I'm going to pick an offensive thing to look at today, and it's this offensive line that I feel like I came into the season thinking one of the things that was going to sort of propel this team. One of the reasons why I wasn't maybe overly concerned about where the defense was because I thought this offensive line was just going to kind of lay waste to people, especially as far as establishing the run. And Ohio State has, I think, gotten away from establishing the run a little bit. We're talking to Garrett Wilson today about those like horizontal passes out in the flats, how they call those long handoffs. I think that's different, though, than when you let these big guys that you have up front, this huge offensive line you have, go out and just be sort of like road graders and clear people out. And I think that sets a physical tone for a game that has benefited Ohio State in the last couple of years when they've been able to do it. So that's kind of what I'm looking to see. This offensive line going in and sort of establishing a dominant tone. I think that helps kind of propel this team. I think it gives this team a better foundation on both sides of the ball because I think as a defense, you see that you go out there and you can kind of pick up on that physical tone that's being set. I think it takes even more pressure off of C.J. Stroud. You know, Ohio State threw the ball 55 times. How many times they run it the last game? It was basically the reverse of their usual ratio. They run the ball 2/3 of the time, and it was pretty much reversed. I know that on first downs in this past game against Oregon, they ran the ball on only 13 of their 40 first down plays. That includes the 2 sacks that C.J. Stroud took. I'm sorry, it doesn't include the 2 sacks. Those are included in the passing plays. So pretty much just a reverse, and I think they've got to get back a little bit to establishing that run game. And I think they've got guys in Mayan Williams and Trayvon Henderson who can take advantage of that. We've seen how tough Mayan Williams can run through contact at times. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily result in a huge gain, but I think he will definitely take what you give him. And same with Trayvon Henderson. I think there's just a matter of opening a lane for him and letting him be explosive. I think they've got to work harder to establish that. It'll be easier than it was against Oregon. I think as much as I've rewatched that game this week, I keep being impressed with how well Oregon played defensively, but they've got to kind of get that, I think, going as part of an essential part of this offense going forward. Get the text, 614-350-3315. Saturday morning, it's a 2-week free trial before we charge you only $3.99 a month for it. But Saturday morning, that's where we're texting you personnel updates, other things that we see leading up to the game and kickoff at noon.